jiu-jitsu change people's lives. You know, all these lessons that we learn on the mat can really change your life for better. It's a martial arts that you keep you humble. You're always gonna learn, you know, always gonna get it better.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My name's Caleb. I trained with Jadson Costa at Fight House up here in Grand Rapids, Michigan for maybe like 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
So he talked about you a little bit because you taught him a lot. And so I think I just randomly kind of friended you on Facebook, and that was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And then just recently, like this past week, I've kind of been getting back into jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I just thought this would be cool to talk to someone who knows as much as you do and who has been doing this for as long as you have, you know?
Nice.
So, yeah, so maybe if you want to just start with just, a little bit about yourself, where you were born and how you got into jiu-jitsu.
Okay. Guys, my name is Renato Tavares. I started training jiu-jitsu in 1974.
Wow.
I started training in Brazil, Academia Serrana, with a grandmaster, Genê Rebelo, and Elias Martins. And that means I have been training about for 46, 47 years. I have been involved with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I train with them from white belt all the way to purple. Kind of the transition to blue to purple. I moved to Rio. And I started training under Carson Gracie, that I got in my brown and my black belt.
Okay. And so you were born in Brazil then?
Yeah, I was born in Brazil, born in Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
And when I was like probably 1 or 2 years old, I moved to Teresópolis. That is an hour and a half from Rio.
Okay.
And that's the city I started training jiu-jitsu under Serrana, Academia Serrana.
Okay. And then when did you decide to come to America then?
It's like I have a student when I was teaching in Curitiba, Brazil, there's where I met Jadson Costa. I started teaching there in 1996.
Okay.
And then I have a student about in the 2000, he started going there to training jiu-jitsu. He was American. He was going there from Soldier, a company in Brazil. And then after training for me for a year, he invited me to come and teach in his city. That was in Georgetown, Kentucky, and Louisville, Kentucky. They have an opportunity to teach in both places. And then I moved to U.S. because he kind of stopped putting this gym together. But I just stayed there for 6 months. Unfortunately, my father passed away. I need to go back to Brazil.
Okay.
But when I came here in 2002, that was when we kind of decided to open the gym. I have opportunity to training on the American top team. Libório spoke for Libório, and then I trained on the American top team. I get a good connections. I start help them training and teach. Those guys, the team we put together for MMA, start helping them to teach those guys. And then when my father passed away, they offered me, if you want to come back, the door is open for you. It's always welcome to come back to the gym to help us here. And then in 2003, February 2003, I moved back and I start teach there, training, help. And then the same year, I start training for MMA, and I fought my first MMA fight in 2004.
Okay. Wow. So how old were you in that first fight then?
2004, it's like 2004, 16, 17 years ago. I was 38, probably 38 years old.
Wow.
When I did my first, because in Brazil, I was training MMA and was like training people to do MMA, but I never really have a desire to fight MMA.
Yeah.
But I fought MMA because when I was training under Carson Gracie, one time we was sitting on he has office there, and we talk about MMA, jiu-jitsu, black belt, and he mentioned like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu that really want to be kind of a black belt, like kind of prove, go over all the steps, need at least a step on the mat, step on the ring or the cage one time.
Okay.
And I had this behind on my back of my mind. It's like when they offer, and I was thinking about, at least I need to know. I training people, but I need to know. Teachers one thing, but be there is a different thing. Yeah. I want to at least know, be there inside. What gonna happen there? The way I'm gonna react there again can be better. Even teaching a better coach being inside there. And I fought one time, and after that I fought 7 more times. My last fight, I was 41, I think, 42 years old.
Wow, that's amazing. And when you say that because you were learning under Carlson Gracie, yes. And it wasn't just because now I don't fully understand how it works, but even the gym that I'm at now in Grand Rapids, it's called Carlson Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, but obviously he's not there teaching, right? And so, but you were learning under the actual Carlson Gracie, is that right?
Yeah. Carlson Gracie was in the gym, but he wasn't teaching too much classes. I trained at Carlson Gracie Jr., his son, and I trained for Marcelo Alonso, I trained for Liborio, I trained for Bolão. Then we have amazing coaches inside there. But I was able to participate and help a little bit on the first kind of big MMA fights they have there. When Murilo Bustamante fought, Walidi, those guys. And then I was training with them a lot of times for the bigger super fights. When Walidi fought Renzo, I was there helping him.
Okay.
And when I started training jiu-jitsu, was a lot more about self-defense and use jiu-jitsu to protect yourself.
Yeah.
In the Serrana Jiu-Jitsu, we have once a week, we have a class just specific for self-defense.
Yeah.
And on that class, once a month, or I'm sure if once a month or twice a month, we do it open hands as a kid. I was probably 10 years old, 12 years old. We do open hands to know how to protect, how to put the person down. We use jiu-jitsu when the person attack you.
Yeah,
that was a little bit what we have today, but I think was really helped me already as a young age understand the MMA part. There wasn't an MMA; it's pretty much a self-defense, but understand how do jiu-jitsu when have punches and kicking involved.
Right. Okay. So, did you feel like when you actually did fight MMA? First of all, what does that feel like, and what is that experience like? And then number 2, did you feel like that did help you to become a better teacher at the end of the day?
Yeah, for the first fight, like you always, we're going to fight MMA, you think about punches and kicks. I'm not sure if was the training that we had was like a really high level.
Okay.
Or the experience of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I feel less nervous going to the MMA than I was going for some super fights, no gi and gi, I don't know why. But the training was really consistent, was helping those guys. I was doing a lot of sparring. Because in the beginning, I'm not supposed to fight that fight. I have another guy supposed to fight, but he get an injury, and then the body said, "Oh, you want to fight? You want here? You want training the same weight class?" And I did, and I have the desire to do. I was training for all those good guys, and I think like really, probably the training. We have a crazy trainings. We have those we call the corner of the death. They put one person in the corner, have 5, 6 people in front of you, and each 30 seconds they change guys. And then you need the idea is that to protect yourself and put it down, protect yourself, put the person down.
Wow.
And I think with the training, kind of really prepare, for like you always say, like if you wanna get a good training, it's like the training the gym need to be harder than the fight.
Right.
You need to be really put yourself in like stuff that maybe not gonna happen to be prepared for whatever happened there.
Yeah.
And then your second question, yes, I think it really helped me not just on the teaching MMA fighters, but even the other aspects of the fight too, mentally, how to prepare mentally, that I can help my students with MMA and with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or no-gi. So it really helped me, my mindset, and Jiu-Jitsu one of those arts that you never end to learn. You're always constantly learning how teach, how training, how fight, how you can communicate with the fighters too, because each one have a different way that you need to talk with or approach to make sure you can teach them. And then I always I train for all these years, but I always try find new ways to teach, better way to explain, better way to act on the mat. We talk a lot about this on the mat too, to make sure the person training with you has kind of the same mentality. Like jiu-jitsu is always looking for getting better, improvement. Understand that some days you're going to be disappointed, some days you're going to be discouraged. Sometimes you're going to even think and quit, but you keep pushing, keep moving forward, and growing and getting better in life. Then that's another thing too. You try to relate the jiu-jitsu with your life. In the end, it's the same struggles you're going to have in your life. If you're learning from the mats, you're going to be able to deal better with those struggles in life.
Yeah, for sure. And so do you own your own gym now, or are you an instructor at a gym?
No, yes, I own my gym. I moved to Vero Beach in 2006, and I opened my gym. I started teaching actually inside my garage because I opened a gym in Orlando, didn't work well. I lost a lot of money. Was the time of the crisis here in US, and pretty much like I left the place there. I put $40,000. I left there just for a piece of mat that I could put inside my garage. And then I started from there in 2006. 2007, I have a friend that was moving from Kentucky. He came here, we put stuff together, and we opened our first gym here in 2006, Alex Badar. And it's a great story. Like we have a good relationship. We put this together. And we put this together, and then after we open, we get there. It's almost like he has his dream come true. He wants to have his own gym. He passed away on the mat training. He has a heart attack on the mat. And this was a hard time too, because you just open, you have the guy with you, and he passed away on the mat. And I was so blessed to have people like Ellison Eka came here. My black belt, Jason Keaton. I have another couple other guys came and helped me here during the process, because it was like 3-4 weeks, really hard for me to go over and be back on the mat there. And he passed away. I have an MMA fight like 4 weeks after, and then I was kind of try fight in his memory. And by the time because all the crisis thing, I wasn't needing the money. Then first week was kind of hard to be back on training. Second week, his mother came here, and I was right with her. Third week, I got sick. I think all the pressure that I was holding when her mother left, because the pressure came in and was getting sick. And then I pretty much didn't train for the fight, and I lost it. Even tore my biceps. I think so much stress and everything.
Wow.
But like I think like the jiu-jitsu teach, all this, I was able to pass that stuff and then kind of rethink my life. And today we have growing from there. From my garage, I was able to open the gym for this guy. 2 years later, I moved to the mall. My gym's inside the mall. 3-4 years later, we opened the second location. Now we have 4 locations around Florida here. My association, by the time, really growing too. I think at that time I have maybe 5 or 6 school affiliate. Now I have over 35, close to 40 schools. But I think all the lessons, daily lessons, like stuff you're learning from the mat, all this stuff, you need use those situations to make yourself better, act better in the future.
Yeah.
A lot of people use those things to the right way. Some people use the wrong way. Try to keep always thinking the past and negative stuff. And it's like that's this. I was able to overcome. And other stuff's come in your life, you always kind of overcome things and make yourself better. And try to teach, the students and the people around us to have the same mentality.
Yeah. Okay, so you're a black belt, obviously. What degree of black belt are you?
6 degree.
6th degree. And then how does because obviously the better that you get, you go from white to blue, purple, brown, and black. And then how does the degrees work after that?
It's a time, like the first 3 degrees is about 3 years. Okay. And then the 4th to 5th is 4 years. And then after that, 7 years.
Okay.
And personally, I don't think that's not the right way to do it. I think, if you have a black belt that's teaching, doing seminars, competing, supposed to be a different way to rank.
Okay.
You know, because I have a person maybe go there once a week, they're gonna move you the same way as you move. You know, and then I don't think that's fair.
Right.
I think they could be maybe say the first 3 years, everybody move 3 years. After that, if you're still teaching, still acting, still doing something, they couldn't keep the 3 years. If you're not, you're gonna wait for 5 years, and then when you move to 5, if you're still active, you still 3 years. If you're not active, go to 7. You know, then it's kind of. I think it could be the better way to separate. You know, who does you still involved in the martial arts, involved in jiu-jitsu, you still involved in teach people, helping people growing on the mat, then competing. Then the other people that just go there once a month, you know, once a week, or just waiting to get the time and they go apply for the certification. You know?
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense because, like you or like Jadson, you guys are both teaching like every single day and competing and doing different stuff, and so that makes sense that, you know, you guys can fit in that time limit, and then someone else who is only coming in like once a week, like you said, maybe teaching one class or something, they're not going to be developing the game as much as maybe you or someone else would be. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it's right, not even about this, develop the game, it's about give it back.
Yeah.
To the community. I think it's the more important to give it back, be part of the growing of the sport, you know?
Yeah.
It's not, because you can still training, still growing, learning, you know, but I think it's at least I think one point in my life was giving back. Even when I compete, it's not a compete for the medal, no, it's compete just to make sure whatever I'm training, it's like I'm getting better. And then if I feel what I do there is getting better, I can bring to my students. It's giving back to my students, giving back to the community, you know?
Yeah. And then are you still competing in jiu-jitsu still now?
Yes. Okay. I right now pretty much compete in Pan Ams and Master Wars, but I have a local tournaments like in Florida. I compete in Miami Open, Orlando Open. Once in a while, I compete in different states. Some super fights. Sometimes I get some super fights. I compete in super fights too. But I really love to be involved in the competition part, because it's constantly about getting better shape, staying in shape, learning, growing in jiu-jitsu. Is more about what the preparation give me than they could really get there for the medal. You know, like keep me healthy, you know, keep me active. I think I have been fighting this weight, this featherweight since I was purple belt. All because, you know, I have this mentality to keep my weight and stay in shape and prepare myself for the tournaments. Like that's all year long. The most that I go over my weight, that's for the last 20 years, is maybe 10 pounds. Even when I get an injury, actually, if I get an injury, sometimes I cannot train, I always try balance these 10 pounds. When I hit these 10 pounds, I start doing diet and start adding a little bit more exercise, cardio, change a little bit here and there, because for me, it's like almost like that's the limit. I hit there and need to go down again. Normal, I walk around 5-6 pounds over.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Because when I first started training, I started maybe like 210 pounds or so. And then I trained for about 6 months. And then I got down to maybe like, I was like 189. And I felt like that was a pretty healthy spot for me. And I was jiu-jitsu just puts you in such great shape. It's pretty awesome.
You can create a lifestyle, you know, like that you put all together. You know, you have the competition, you have the training, the teaching, balance everything. You know, I think I think that's really balance you mentally, physically. You know, I think it's a great way to, when you have the competition involved, I think you watch more your daily training, you know, and the way we train here too, at least the way I train and try to get most of my guys that like to compete, is we train all year long, say about 75%. And then when I have the tournament, we increase. It's not like we train for this fight really hard and then like don't drop, don't do nothing, get out of shape and then start again. Now we try to keep it like steady and go a little bit peak and then come back steady, a little bit peak.
Yeah.
And I try give my students kind of the same idea. It's going to be healthy for you, less injury. You're right there, pretty close your weight, and then you don't need to do crazy diet close the tournament, you know.
Right.
Or now that I put all this weight, I go to the next division. Then I think make more balance in life, you know, for everything you do.
Definitely. As far as the belts go, like if you have a student who's, you know, starting out white belt and then they're trying to move up through the ranks of the belts, right? And so is that a time thing, or is that you seeing them like, wow, while he was maybe rolling or he was in a tournament and he did something kind of outperformed what you've seen from the student beforehand, and then you say, man, he's ready for the blue belt, or he's ready to go to the next level? Or does it have something to do with the time, or is it kind of both?
Both. And actually, I have another aspect there. I have the time, and then I have like the performance, and what kind of direction the person want to do. You know, so people like they come training, and we're waiting for the time, and then the guy's doing really well. But if the person is just like a working, he doesn't have no expectation to compete, and then we kind of have one person kind of be one level here. And then we have the other person that pretty much the same way, but he wants to compete once in a while. We see local tournaments, stuff like this, and then we look at him a different way. If the guy really want to go to the next level, compete in big tournaments, and then we watch him at a different place too. And then it's a balance of, again, it's always about balance. You know, you see the person want to training, is already growing, learn the techniques, have the techniques, because you have a curriculum, they have all the techniques that he's supposed to know, he able to do during the training, but he have no expectation to compete. Okay, you could then go to the next level.
Yeah.
If you like to compete, and then you can increase a little bit what the requirement, and if you want to compete in a high level, and then the bars go a little bit higher.
Right. Okay. So when I trained with Jadson at Fight House, I basically was always in the gi, because that was kind of his mindset, is like, first you learn in the gi for a pretty long time, and then we go to no gi. But the place that I'm at currently, I've only been there for a short time, but they kind of go back and forth between gi and no gi. So I've been training for like 8 months, but the first time I trained no gi was like last week. And it was just very interesting. But what do you think about new white belts starting just in the gi, or do you think it's good to be kind of switching back and forth?
What I do here, I have my beginners class is just about technique. And I include a lot of self-defense, because it's important to understand that jiu-jitsu is based in self-defense.
Yeah.
And then they learn in self-defense, they learn all the basic movements. They need to be in that class for 50 classes. If you have a little experience, it can be a little bit less, but if you have no experience, we're going to try to keep you there for 50 classes. And then you got the first 25 classes, you got a first strike, there's 25 more classes, you got a second strike, and then you're going to be able to move to the other classes and be able to do no gi, the gi, more the intermediate and advanced, and you move from there. But I really try to keep most of the people in this beginners class, because what happened a lot of times when the person get in the gym, doesn't have this experience about getting all the basic stuffs, what happened is they get frustrated, because it's hard to understand right there in the beginning, body mechanic, you know, angles, moving the body. And then when I start doing this program that I have the beginners there, they really need to be there, because they can have no experience, they understand the body mechanic, body motions. When they move to the next belt, they learn so much faster.
Yeah.
And the retentions really grow in the gym, because people understand more. They're going to go there knowing what they're supposed to do, understand guard, understand sweeps, understand submissions. And then the retention is bigger. The way the performance in the next level is bigger too. They're getting learning really faster that way, you know?
Yeah. And so during those first 50 classes, you said you focus mainly on technique. Do you guys have like live rolling at the end of the class, or is it just technique and that's it?
We do a pretty much a script, you know, and we teach like say, oh, today we're gonna do the takedown, cycle show, mount, and submission.
Yeah.
And then by the end, they kind of go over, if I break it down in part, after they put all together, and they go script. And then each class, I'm gonna adding more stuff. By the end, they need to do the whole thing.
Oh,
So
okay.
pretty much the whole curriculum in one class. But then they're gonna be able to go over all the scenario.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to go to the door here just real quick.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Okay, so I wanted to ask about maybe some tips that you have for white belts or people who are just starting out, as far as just like practically ways to learn, and maybe with like drilling, because one thing that I've found a little tough is knowing how to drill. Like what should I be focusing on? Should I be like giving resistance if I'm the opposite person? You know, like I feel like sometimes when the teacher shows, okay, this is what you do, and then you go and do it with a random person, sometimes it kind of is a little awkward and doesn't work out the way that the teacher kind of showed it. So do you have any advice just on do you have any advice just on how to drill and to make that more efficient?
Yeah, like the one thing, number one is like pay attention what the coach is teaching, you know, like, and then a lot of people, they start in jiu-jitsu, they already kind of start looking on the YouTube and start going to crazy videos. You need to learn what's the person teach there, you know, and then don't try do come crazy stuff to try doing the class. Stay stuck with the fundamentals, the basics, you know, like all the grips, the body position. Try, if you go to the learning stuff in the internet, try find out about drillings that's kind of teach your body position, how your body's supposed to be there. Looking for basic stuff, you know, like the basic guard, basic sweeps. Because if you're building a good fundamental, it's going to be easy to learn the other stuff. Like the one thing I teach my students, tell my students too, like is the way I show them. It's like, imagine it's a tree, you know, need to have the roots first.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then from the roots is going to come the trunk. And then if the trunk is strong, when the branches start coming, you have the piece solid there, going to be able to hold the branches.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like from the branches, like say we talk about like, oh, this is the way the tree comes, this the branch is going to be your guard, close guard, go in this direction. Try to find 3 positions from the close guard. And then from there, you're going to have your 3 moves going that direction. Maybe 3 positions from the open guards, another branch. And then you have 3. Always try to have 3 options from each situation that you are.
Okay.
But it's important that they pay attention what the teacher's teaching, learning those movements. Another thing, the white belts sometimes is scared to ask questions. You know, I don't want to ask this because it's stupid.
Yeah.
I always tell my students, like, it's stupid is not ask. You know, it's important you guys ask questions. It's important you guys tell me what you need to know, because every time you ask for something, it's one last thing that you need to learn or practice, you know? And then, just a second. Vitória, papai tá falando aqui, para com isso. Calma, para que senão tá fazendo barulho. Okay, as my daughter.
No problem.
But yeah, it's like you know, you need to pay attention to the details, the little things. The little things.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that's the way you're gonna be able to learn more. Like ask questions. Find a way inside the gym that you have a little connection, you know, and then try every time. But I have a lot of students. They see other people connect, like kind of ask the questions. By the end of the class, I always say, "You guys have any questions? Just I have me, have the other guys ask them." And sometimes they feel, oh, don't want to ask the coach, but they feel more free to ask them our lower belts. And then you see a lot of those guys getting new contacts, and by the end of class, they drill, they ask questions.
Yeah.
It's super important to stay on the basics, the fundamentals, and ask questions, you know, and don't avoid a little bit in the beginning to go find something else on the internet, you know?
Right. Okay. You said that, so would you say that there's an age limit to starting jiu-jitsu?
No.
No. So
I think the question, like, I have a guy. He's already blue belt. Came from the gym. He's 64 years old.
wow.
And then I have another guy. He just started training for us. He's 59.
Wow.
Of course, the way they're gonna training and learning gonna be a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, and then one thing I do in my gym here, I'll always partner, you know, the new guy or maybe the older guy with the person that I know they can help and guide them.
Okay.
And then when they roll, the same thing. I put it for the person that I know they're not gonna do nothing stupid. Don't wanna hurt the other person, and then that way the person gonna be able to learn and train and enjoy jiu-jitsu, you know. And but that's the way I teach. I like to partner up. I like to not just for the drilling part, for the position part, but for the training part too, because I want to make sure everybody has a good time.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people work all day and get back in the gym late at night, like 6:30, 7 o'clock. They're exhausted some days, but I want to make sure they have a good time. You know, they come, they're learning, they have good conversation, they have start make friends. I think the jiu-jitsu part that people missing right now, they go too much in the competition class. Jiu-jitsu, like I said in the beginning, is more than that. It's like a lifestyle, you know, something that you can learn in the lessons you can learn on the mat. You can help in your life. Help, like the last year you have the pandemic. I think jiu-jitsu really helped me going through, you know, because it's almost like, okay, now what are we going to do? We need to close the gym. We're going to have money. But all the lessons that are that I have before, you know, the disappointment, the discouraged, the frustration is coming, but I already passed many times of that. I know something's going to come better than that. What I can do now to when we come back, I have them ever better. Then we did a lot of Zoom classes. I study a lot of stuff. I fix in my gym. When the people come, they have a better place for training.
Yeah.
And then the mindset of the jiu-jitsu to give to see your next goal, next steps to grow. I was using that time to help him do the transition. We opened a page on the Facebook that we did an online conditioning training in the morning, online conditioning training afternoon to keep people in shape, keep people with something to do.
Yeah.
And all the time we kind of have a little message in the end, you know, you always want extra time to do stuff, so maybe change your, now's the time, you know, kind of gave that kind of message to make sure people kind of doesn't see this and get depressed, you know. And after that, I have a lot of messages. People say, man, that was awesome. We have that time. We stick together during that time, like helping a lot during that time and helping come and overcome after, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So how I've heard, and especially when I was training with Jadson, he was talking about how humility in jiu-jitsu is one of the biggest things. And when you come in, you're almost forced to be humble, because especially if you're just coming in as a white belt, you're going to be tapping a lot because you don't have that technique built up, right? And so yeah, what would you say about that, just humility and jiu-jitsu and that connection there? No problem.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu kind of people ask me, oh, have these people, just kind of people come here and it's very no big head. It comes like two things gonna happen. Or they're gonna change or they're gonna leave. They don't stay. You know, because jiu-jitsu teach, you know, every day they teach you to be humble. If you're not humble, you're gonna get hurt. If you're not humble, you're gonna be, destroying the mat. Because if you try muscle somebody, people are gonna teach that it's not about muscle, it's about technique, and then you're gonna be tapped by a woman, you're gonna be tapped by a kid.
Yeah.
And then or you change or you're gonna leave. You know, like jiu-jitsu really keep you humble, and this is not just in the beginning. You know, like a lot of times people grow and start winning tournaments, the ego start growing, and boom, somebody else. It's not that easy. It's down here, back to the earth, you know. And always gonna have somebody to kick your butt. You know? You think you're good, somebody comes and, no, not that good. Keep training.
Yeah.
Keep growing.
That's funny. So I saw it on what would be maybe advice for someone who has started, because I just started out and I had different things that I want to drill and train, but I don't really have anyone at my house that can help me. My wife is not really interested in jiu-jitsu and she's pregnant right now, so I can't really practice like mount escapes with her, right?
Uh-huh.
But I saw this like kind of like this ad for this like dummy thing that would kind of help you. It's like a weighted dummy that could help you do some drills and stuff. What do you think about one of those? Do you think it's worth it or no?
Yeah, if you don't have a person or somebody to drill, of course you need to use something like that. I have some drills on my YouTube page that we teach, like using belts to do movements, work out on the wall. And then you can, another thing that is, we use a lot of ginástica natural. It's one kind of exercise, look like a yoga, where you constantly move, constantly transition. And then that way, when you start learning this, you can even train, like imagine if you train jiu-jitsu and you kind of put yourself in a guard path position, side control, transition for the moment, kind of create your own path in your mind that you can use to drill on the floor, in the backyard,
Yeah, that's awesome.
And imagine just kind of, because that's the kind of create scenarios. I create scenarios sometimes to prepare, when I prepare for tournaments too. I put myself in some situations, or maybe by the end, like say we train, I know what is 5-0 when I roll, because I always try mentally and remember how much time I have, how many points I have, but I can create a situation during the roll, like I'm losing by 3. I need to do 4 points, 5 points, and how to do that. And this kind of constantly creates scenarios in your mind, and then you can do the same thing if you don't have nobody. It's like just put yourself in the position of the guard, use your belt, like use the person's arm, use the feet in the belt, do the lasso, switch lasso, maybe fake a sweep. And you can create those scenarios too in your mind and start using to do your house, by yourself.
For sure. And so you mentioned just about how jiu-jitsu keeps you in great shape because you're always training and teaching and stuff like that. What does because how old are you right now?
53.
53. And you're still doing this. Obviously, I think there would probably be a lot of 53-year-olds who would look at you and be like, wow, I couldn't do that, Do you also have like a specific diet that you kind of keep to and try to keep eating clean, or are you able to exercise so much that it doesn't matter?
It's like I think it's a mix, I training, like I said, we train here pretty much. We have a class Monday to Sunday every day. I have one thing I have in my routine is like a Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. We train like kind of competition, speed, and then these are all year long.
Yeah,
that's another thing too. I constantly have this in mind. These 3 days is to train more as a competition level. I eat kind of clean, decent. Weekends we a little bit off the diet a little bit, but I'm not big on fries, sugar.
Yeah.
And I have this limit. That's another thing too. I have this weight limit when I get there, and then I start. Usually I'm 155 and 56. When I hit 158, 59, I drop, and then it's quick fix to drop, and then you can kind of. I eat pizza. I eat ice cream. It's not every day, but I'm not super crazy on diet. But I think it's because the lifestyle, all these checkpoints, that I do, that we have this 3 times a week that are a little bit harder. I have this weight limit. During the week, I try not eat nothing too bad. Like some days, my wife maybe will work, and then we eat something a little bit more calories. I need to eat on the street. But I think if you have this balance in life, that you kind of eat normal, not crazy during the week, and then during the week, you're not going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday eating crazy stuff. Too.
Right.
Maybe 1 day or 2. When I travel for seminars, and then it is hard to maintain the diet.
Yeah.
But then the following week, you already kind of come back and try clean a little bit and drop the weight, maybe put it on. And I think this again is for me. It's a lot of things that I do for years.
Yeah.
And then that I have a couple guys that I told them, hey, you need to keep this weight, you need to have this limit. And then when they get it there, it's so much easy, to maintain your weight. You don't need to do crazy diets, big tournaments, stuff like this. And then you can see the big change in the other guys. Like I eat pretty much everything. People think, oh, you eat this, that. No, I eat normal, but I have routines in the morning. What I eat, I eat like 5-6 times a day. I do like some snacks, and then I have my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner, and then I have at least 2 snacks between, sometimes 3, depending on what my day is. If I have a extra training or conditioning, and then I have extra snack right there.
So I think not many Americans really know what life is like in Brazil, and especially growing up and stuff. The way that Judson was he was telling us different stories and whatnot, and talking about jiu-jitsu in Brazil is kind of like how Americans would treat like basketball or football, right? So there's like a gym almost on every corner down there. Was that kind of how it was growing up? Like,
yeah. When I started, when I was 6 years old, it wasn't that big, When I moved to Rio in '88, we started having more gyms. That was because I started training 74 to 88, have more gyms played. We see more. But after the UFC fight when Horst fought the first time, I think the weight exploded. Not just in Brazil, but all over.
Yeah.
And then right now, for sure, in Brazil, I have not gone to Brazil the last 3 years, or Rio, the area I was teaching. But I'm sure right now I have probably every corner in Rio de Janeiro has one or jiu-jitsu gym.
That's awesome. Let's see. If you could kind of broadcast to the whole world and you had this opportunity to share with everyone why they should do jiu-jitsu, what would you say?
I think the number one thing is like in jiu-jitsu, and we see a lot of everybody can do. And then, of course, you need to kind of see what the limitations people, but it's a sport for everyone. there's a limit to what you can go. You know, it's like really can change people's life. It can save people's life.
Yeah.
And the martial art that bring everybody together, you know, as a family, unite people, get people help each other, and always there for each other. And that's what we need right now. All this crazy stuff's happening outside there.
Yeah.
I think jiu-jitsu can really help people, you know, all aspects in life, you know,
For
be
sure.
more united. All the stuff people right now, it's like, oh, you this or that, or you think this way or think that way. On the mat, you know, you all feel the same.
Yeah.
We have different opinions. You like guard, maybe I like to pass, and then make you understand that it's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like it can help, really help for all this crazy stuff's going outside there. Can really help understand that we can really grow.
Yeah.
And go to the next level in life with jiu-jitsu, you know?
For sure. Do you think that, are you going to be doing this until you die?
Yeah, like the other day, people message me and ask me, it's like a kind of, whatever my body and my mind let me do it, you know, maybe my body going to be too much there, but if my mind is there, I can help people. Yeah. I can teach people from outside, because, you know, like, I was going to be there. No, I can't, I think I can't live without, even right now without training. You know, it's like sometimes I start training and I get injured, and then I stay home. My wife, get out of here. Go do something. Go do whatever you go. Can do. You know, it's like it's something that is almost like addiction. You know,
yeah.
For being involved. And for me right now, like I said, it's not too much just on the position. It's be more around people, help people, change people's mind, and be in people's lives too. You know, I think it's bigger than just position and, you know, teach some chokes, some bars. You know,
right?
You're just much bigger. It's a lifestyle that I try to pass to the other people too.
Yeah. Do you have any idea on how many black belts that you have trained that have kind of come through your school?
Black belts that I formed probably is already over 50 black belts that I formed.
Wow.
But I have all the people that are training under me, and you get black belts on the other people. That's going to be at least, I don't know, probably 300 people plus.
Wow.
And then people that passed in my life that was teaching the match, but it's not just my school and the seminars. Let's go to probably over 10,000 people. I was able to be involved in seminars, teaching, competing. There was kind of share the mat, talk after, you know.
Yeah.
It's impossible to know. Like so many people can be involved, you know, especially in 47 years, you know, involved in the sports.
That's amazing. So I see that cross behind you, and I've seen some of your Facebook posts, and so I'm just assuming that you're a Christian. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so I am too as well. And so I just wondered how does that play into, you know, jiu-jitsu and what you're doing and your coaching and different things like that?
I think that the complete part, you know, because you have in jiu-jitsu, like you got pretty much, if you think about a religion, jiu-jitsu is pretty much the same. You know, it's kind of, you want to help other people, you want to everybody grow, you want everybody have faith, you know, believe on themselves, and they can grow. And I think it's the same for me. Jiu-jitsu right now is kind of almost like a religion that I try to bring together. We have a group that every Thursday morning we have a group that go to the gym, and then we have my pastor come and we talk about, you know, the faith, and we talk about pray, we talk about life and all this. I think is something that even this week we talk about how much the jiu-jitsu can impact other people's life, and how we can bring this open that you have with jiu-jitsu to talk about Jesus, you know, to talk about God, you know, that is sometimes you're missing, to say, oh, how you stay in so much good shape. I mean, we'll have all this stuff that I told you, but I think it's more than that. Like, God, give me the opportunity to do this. Give me the daily faith and guide to keep helping people, keeping doing this. And then it's the same thing. The mentality is the same. you know, because the idea is getting people better, help people, have people believe in themselves. And then as I think you put in the religion, you know, learning to pray in the struggles, and then you need learning with the lesson you have in the gym to go over the struggles, overcome. It's a big combine, you know, I think this is super important if you can combine both and use the jiu-jitsu to be able to, you know, bring God, bring Jesus, and we pray on the mat, you know, we pray during the Memorial Day, you know, all this crazy stuff that's going on. I think if people gotta really get the you know, Christianism or the God and jiu-jitsu and put it together.
Yeah.
And see, it's something that we need, you know, and then all this stuff, you want to put apart. We need to kind of, nope, it's right here. Without this, it's too much. We need to connect this more. And I think it's super important, like the mindset and the faith and together for jiu-jitsu is what we need.
Yeah. And it's like a lifestyle, like you were saying about jiu-jitsu is a lifestyle. And so if you kind of incorporate your faith into that lifestyle of jiu-jitsu, then, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to be where you want to be in life, you know?
And then like, they don't know the struggles they don't have. And then you go there and then read the Bible or you talk to somebody they know and just share. Like same thing we share on the mat to grow, you know, in the position, grow in jiu-jitsu. When you share about life experience and you share about verses and Bible, get you stronger too. You know, sometimes you all break, and we all break a little bit here and there. You know, nobody's like a solid. But if sometimes here something doesn't work, you go looking for here, and then you put here together. It's kind of put a block together, and then you kind of building your sword and your shield. You know, you have your sword and your shield in your hand.
Okay. Last question I have for you. So OS, I hear it a lot, and everyone texts it, or you know, if you post a video, someone comments that it's just OSS, or maybe there's a U on the end sometimes. What does that mean?
OS is pretty much everything. You know, you agree, you say bye, hello. You know, we use OS like right now. OS is like we're using all different, you know, all different things in your life, you know, like you say, pretty much you agree or you disagree. I don't think there's like us. Man, it's the way you express the us, and then you kind of, but it's us like we use, like it's pretty much everything. You know, everything you can say us there. Say hi, us. Bye, us.
Is that a Brazilian thing? Do you know where that
No,
started?
It's a
Japanese. Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I guess so. It kind of depends on the context, because sometimes it can be like, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like they end the class, everybody bowed and kind of respect, you know. But and then I think like after people start using us for other different things, but it was more like a respect, you know, like kind of respect what you know after finish the class, or you see your master, or you know, like kind of respect too.
Right. Okay. Well, okay. On that note, I mean, that was awesome. I thank you so much for spending this time with me, and you know, hopefully you thought it was a good use of your time, and I just appreciate it so much. And and when I post it, when I post it on YouTube, I'll tag you in it on Facebook, so that you'll be able to, you know, share it with whoever you want to or whatever. But thank you so much for your time. And hopefully maybe one time I'll be able to come down to Florida and come to the gym. That'd be fun.
Thank you, Kelly, for the opportunity, you know, the opportunity to share a little bit of my life and my thoughts. And then all the links you sent to me, you know, I like to see the other people doing that.
Okay, sounds good. Os.
Oof.
See ya.
See ya.